the St. Louis Cardinals baseball from Busch Stadium. The Cardinals hosting the New York Mets. Redbirds red hot. They've won the first 2 of this series and 11 of their last 13. Led by their veterans with the bat. Carlos Beltran homered into Big Mac land here yesterday. Matt Holliday, a big hit in the first. The Cardinals pounded out 11 hits here last night in a 10-4 victory. Glad you're with us. Rick Horton with Al Roboski. And one thing about these Cardinals, they have the veterans leading the way offensively, but they've got the young kids leading as far as the pitching is concerned. In fact, last night we saw 4 of them, 24 years of age or younger, including Al, our starter here last night, making his major league debut, John Gast.
Well, John Gast, little lefty out of Florida State University. They say he fears nothing, and he looked very comfortable on the mound. He had good command of that changeup. That's his best pitch. But he really utilized his fastball in a very good fashion, up and down, in and out, and his curveball is improving.
If you like those young pitchers we saw here last night, you're going to love this next guy. Pitching in Game 3 is Shelby Miller from Texas. Just 22. He has been dynamic. More on him when we come back on Fox Sports Midwest. Across Major League Baseball. Some names on there perhaps not a surprise. Hernandez at 1.53. The guy leading the pack, Clayton Kershaw. The Dodger at just 1.40. But how about that guy at number 5? Our young right-hander, Shelby Miller, 1.58. And Al, he has been terrific.
He sure has. And nothing better than his last outing. A broken bat base hit to the leadoff hitter. And then he retired 27 in a row. He's just been outstanding. He's 4th in the National League in ERA, tied for 4th in wins, 4th in opponent's batting average, 4th in whip, and he's tied for 10th with his 51 strikeouts, and that has been such a nice surprise.
Markham and Miller, your pitching matchups. Fans filing in here at Busch. Got some news on Chris Carpenter when we come back. Bullpen here at Busch Stadium again today, but he also made news off the field. Today, Chris Carpenter Field, Cardinal Care's 20th youth baseball field, was dedicated to help the Berkeley Redbird Rookies program. Al, and I know that's important to Chris, and you had thoughts about it as well.
Well, it's very important to me also, because when I was first exposed to Little League, I didn't make 3 Little League teams, 8, 9, and 10. We didn't have a community that really gave a chance for everybody to play. So I think all these kids in Berkeley now have a beautiful facility to play baseball, and who knows who'll be the next Cardinal from that field.
And love to have Chris Carpenter back in a Cardinal uniform. More from Busch after this. 24-year-old left-hander John Gass won his first major league start thanks to 10 runs of support from his offense. Shelby Miller gets the start tonight, and he's not only been one of the best rookies in baseball so far, he's been one of the best pitchers in the game. At the plate, Alan Craig continues to rack up the RBIs. He's got 30 on the season so far, just 3 off the NL lead. Another series win in the cards tonight. Baseball is next on Fox Sports Midwest. The official beer of Major League Baseball. Great times are waiting. Grab some buds. See your Mid-America Chevy dealer or log on to stlchevy.com. Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers, #1 for quality tires and expert auto service. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. And buy Steak and Shake. Just no equal. Fans still filing into Busch Stadium for Game 3 of the series against the Mets. New York has lost 5 straight ball games and really struggling offensively. And here's their batting order for Game 3. Mike Baxter will be out in right field again. He leads off. Daniel Murphy's had a nice series against the Cardinals. He plays second and hits second. David Wright, Ike Davis, and Lucas Duda in the middle. John Buck off to a good start with his power numbers. Will catch. Rick Ankiel just joined the club for this series. Will bat 7th. Ruben Tejada, the young shortstop, hits 8th. And Sean Markham, the veteran right-hander, will pitch and bat 9th. Dobbs Cardinals defense. Matt Holliday, John Jay, and Carlos Beltran, the normal outfielders. And some changes on the infield here tonight. Daniel Descalzo gets the start at second. Matt Carpenter moves over to third. Cosman Craig at their normal positions. And Tony Cruz spells Yadier Molina here tonight. He'll catch Shelby Miller, who's off to a very, very good start.
See, he's making his 8th start. We all know about the complete game. That was last time out. Leadoff hit and then retired 27 in a row. He leads all Major League rookies in ERA, strikeouts, wins. He's really doing a nice job, and this will be his second appearance against the Mets. His first start, second appearance. He made his Major League debut against them last season, and in 2 innings he struck out 4.
Derek Lilliquist has certainly been a big help to Shelby Miller, but Miller has also been crediting Yadier Molina quite a bit. And Yadi not catching tonight. It'll be interesting to see how this twosome works.
Well, yeah, and I thought about that too, Ricky, but you know, you got to give Yadier Molina some time.
No question.
You got to give him a break. And this is the day Yachty, 222 against Sean Markham, their starter. He'll be back in there tomorrow, and he's a 250 hitter against Jonathan Neese. But Descalzo has good numbers. That's why he's in the lineup.
Just about ready to get underway. Game 3 of the 4-game series, and it's Mike Baxter. Been primarily used as a pinch hitter. The Mets really looking for offense somewhere. Talked about their outfield woes in particular. As a group, hitting just barely over 200. Baxter, one of 5 left-handers in the lineup against Miller.
I remember twice this season, Shelby Miller's had great outings, but he's given up a leadoff base hit to Aoki, and then 6 shutout innings, and then the last start to Colorado. We'll see if he'll bear down a little bit more in this one.
Tony Cruz gave him that inside target, and that's one thing about Miller. Not only has his stuff been good, but he's had really good fastball command.
And that is something we rarely say anymore, that somebody has fastball command, and if you have it, it is a real weapon and a plus.
Ahead of Baxter, 1-2. That pitch just misses down and away.
Probably got the non-strike call because he was set up inside trying to paint that part of the plate. And even though it's in the strike zone, your catcher's setting up inside.
The 2-2. Changeup from Miller is low. So our first batter has a full count.
And you don't want it to be such a big thing for Shelby to retire the first batter that he ends up losing him, trying to make things a little too fine.
Outfield shallow for Baxter, and a swing and a miss. He strikes out the right fielder, and we are underway here at Busch Stadium. High strikeout total for these Cardinal pitchers in general, but particularly looking at the starting staff, a lot of swings and misses.
Well, and Shelby has the ability to power the ball up in the zone. Our tire service, Plaza Tire Service with that replay, but you know, by design, we're seeing some of these power arms that they'll change the eye angle with their fastball to keep sinkers down, keep the ball down, even with a four-seamer. But then every now and then you try to put somebody away with the ball up. There's a changeup, like he didn't finish it off.
Telegraph that one a bit. Probably a work in progress.
Sure.
But it's good to show it to him. Makes that pitch look even faster.
A lot of times when you get 2 strikes, you throw your secondary pitches out of the strike zone, allowing the hitter to get himself out. He'll expand his zone.
Murphy had 2 hits yesterday and 3 hits in game 1 of this series. Really has done a much better job swinging the bat on the road than at home. One of those oddities. He's at 365. Of course, the 5 hits here in the last couple of days have helped. Gene Segura, who's off to a tremendous start with the Milwaukee Brewers, the young shortstop, leads in that department. A swing and a miss, and back-to-back strikeouts for Shelby Miller.
Just one final thought on Segura. Remember, he was one of the 3 prospects that was given to Milwaukee in the Greinke trade. And you see him just expand his zone. Somehow you think Yachty's still got his head in this game, and whether he's going to counsel Miller or Cruz, it's very hard for him to sit there on that bench and be quiet, isn't it?
He's got a great baseball mind. Yachty with the high baseball IQ, and you know, he's one of those guys, and you've been around guys like that, Al. They just walk into a stadium and you instantly know what's going on.
They see things that others don't.
Correct.
Good curveball there to David Wright. He had 308, 3 home runs this month.
Minor foul, missed his spot on that pitch. Tony Cruz wanted it in, but Miller is showing his assortment of pitches here in the first.
I don't know about you, Rick, but you know that is something that today's pitchers do that all the time. Where in years past, you would just pitch, and if a guy didn't hit your fastball, you just kept on using it until you got in trouble, or until he proved that he could hit it. You know, and then you went to your secondary pitches. But you always had something left for that third or fourth time a guy came through the order.
The other school of thought is you hope you're still around for that third or fourth time through.
Well, but I mean, if it happens the first, you got to mix it up.
Exactly.
So be it.
Make the adjustment. The 2-2 to David Wright. Rounded up the middle. Descalzo's not going to get it in the center field. And David Wright's aboard. Such a good player.
All right, you can get 25 in a row now. No harmless ground ball right over the mound. No chance for Shelby, and same for Descalzo.
David Wright, the face of this franchise, and a lot of their other faces not living up to their potential in 2013, and this would be one of them. Mike Davis off to a really rough start. He's at 169. Had a freak injury a year ago. Had a really bad ankle sprain that just never really got better.
Speaking of ankle sprains, the phenom down at Memphis, Tabares, is going to be playing. You know, it could be as early as tonight, but his ankle sprain wasn't anywhere near as serious as some of us were led to believe. That's good news.
Very good news. Well, they said the slide was kind of ugly. Got his foot caught underneath it, and they thought it was a bad sprain, and he may be out for a while. So that's great news on the minor league front. There goes David Wright. There's the throw to second from Cruz, and it's not in time. Cosmo applying the tag.
Once again, teams know the scouting report. It's whether Yachty's there or Tony Cruz is there. Doesn't make any difference. They're stealing it off of Shelby Miller. I think it's 7 for 7 now against Shelby Miller. You see, ball got there, but the tag was not applied.
RBI opportunity for Ike Davis. Plays first base for New York. And he does have 9 RBIs to go along with his 4 home runs. 1-1. And that catches the umpire, and foul tip. Looked like it may have gotten him in the shoulder, and looked like he was in some serious pain at first. He's waving everybody off, but Mike Winters is the crew chief, and he's going to make sure he's okay. That's Mark Wegner behind the plate today. And that's part of the crew chief's responsibility, Al, is to just make sure everything's right. Ouch. It sounded bad, didn't it?
Well, it seemed like it got that left arm. They wear the chest protector, and it protects a little bit on the shoulders, but around the bicep area, there's really no protection. Watch.
Yep. Ouch.
Was Vargo still around when you got to the league?
Oh, yeah.
He was the most senior umpire, and I saw one time in the first inning, first pitch of a game, Gaylord Perry had a very sophisticated set of signals and had a young catcher, Buck Owens, in the first pitch. He never got a glove on it. Hit Vargo right in the chest, and I think Buck Owens would have begged to get out of that game because he heard it from the home plate umpire the rest of the day.
I'll bet he did. Another changeup from Miller. We've seen quite a bit of those in this first inning, and that runs the count to 3-2 again.
I'll see if maybe Derek Lowenquist comes in and said, hey, you know, it's great to make him use all of his pitches, but let's establish the fastball first.
The 3-2. Swing and a miss. He strikes out the side. Baxter, Murphy, and Davis. That's strand one. And they'll lead off with Matt Carpenter here in game 3. Carlos Beltran, big home run here last night, plays right field. Matt Holliday, the left fielder. Alan Craig hits cleanup. John Jay, Tony Cruz, Daniel Descalzo, Pete Cosma, and Shelby Miller. That's your Cardinal lineup. The Mets defense brought to you by Dobbs, Duda, Ankiel, and Baxter in the outfield. Tejada and Murphy up the middle. David Wright, the all-star Gold Glover, plays third. Ike Davis, the first baseman. John Buck catches, and Sean Markham, the veteran pitcher, will pitch for New York. He's a very good athlete, Al, but he is just not the same guy he was a couple of years ago.
Yeah, he had elbow issues last year. He's looking for his first win, high ERA. He's got a connection to the state of Missouri. He was from Excelsior Springs on the Kansas City side. Went to Mizzou for a year, actually was playing shortstop, and then he transferred to Missouri State. What did it used to be called? Southwest? South? I don't know, but now it's Missouri State, and they got a nice program there. We're starting to see more and more players come out of there.
And my understanding is he played some shortstop there. Very good athlete. Just does not quite have the fastball velocity that he once had. Matt Carpenter on the Cardinals side, on base 4 times here last night. His average just continues to rise. He's up over 300, and he's shown the ability, Al, to work the walk as well. 2 walks for a total of 18 on the season. Hard hit to center, and Keel has it.
I don't think there's any problem with Carpenter's game in that leadoff spot. He's done a very good job. Markham was a shortstop, but he doesn't hit like a shortstop. Hits like a pitcher.
And we know what that means. Carlos Beltran does not hit like a pitcher, however.
1 for 6 against Sean, but that one hit was a home run. And he hit one into Big Mac land in last night's ball game.
Ground ball up the middle. They had the shift on, so no problem for Tejada. 2 quick outs for Sean Markham. Now he'll face Matt Holliday.
The first time we saw Sean Markham in Milwaukee a couple years ago, he threw a very good game against the Cardinals, and it seemed like there were an awful lot of ground ball outs.
Holliday 4 for 12 in his career against Markham, including 2 home runs. Holiday squares it up. He punishes the baseball.
No other description for it.
We always talk, Al, about how the infielders want to play back just a little bit more when a guy like Holiday's up, and you are always quick to remind us, what about the poor pitcher?
Danny did that one day when McGuire said, boy, look at that third baseman. I said, Danny, check out the pitcher. When he releases the ball, he's 55 feet away from him.
Makes me think of Pedro Guerrero. Couldn't back up far enough for Jack Clark, could he? 1-2-3 inning. No score. 3-1. To the game, and we're going to show you kind of a new stat that's gaining some popularity, and perhaps it's a little bit controversial, but it's what happens on the pitch that ends an at-bat. And for Shelby Miller's fastball, opponents hitting just 192 on the pitch that they put in play. And for the Mets, they are the lowest or second worst in Major League Baseball when it's a fastball that they put in play offensively. So, Al, that should tell us that Shelby Miller may be finishing off some hitters with fastballs here tonight.
And he should be finishing off any team's hitters with fastballs, but especially seems to be a very low average, 235 against the fastball for the Mets.
And again, folks can form their own opinion, but part of the complexity of that is that also includes if it's a first pitch fastball you throw somebody, and it's just that happens to be the one you put into play. But teams are crunching numbers out, trying to figure out advantages any way they can get them.
I always felt like the hitter would tell me how good my fastball was that day.
Yeah, they usually tell you pretty rudely. They don't couch it.
I think sometimes you can have sensory overload with so many statistics.
Wow, he's knocked it down. Shelby Miller on the backhand is able to throw out Lucas Duda. If that's planned, congratulations.
Just
if
look
it's an accident, congratulations anyway.
Well, they're out there to check him, but
hit his glove, didn't it?
That's what we thought, or I thought too. But it looks like they're thinking it hit a little more body. Get a better look this way, right back up there. No, I guess it got back of the body or the glove. I mean, to us, we saw the glove. And it looked like it popped out of the glove. They'll let him throw a couple, see how he's okay.
Wonder whether it grazed off his leg and then hit his glove.
Yeah. He says he's fine. So that will not be an official visit.
Take one more look at it.
Guess he got him on the backside and then went off the glove. And either way, he looked like he was under control, calm and collected when he got to the ball, took a little time, and then threw him out. No rush.
Curveball high to John Buck. Buck has 10 homers and 30 RBIs, and in the early going, he was the guy we heard about more than anybody across the National League. He was off to such a great start. Cooled off a bit.
Yeah, 9 of those 10 home runs came in April. That tied a franchise record for the Mets. Between their backup catcher and John Buck, they have 11 home runs. That's a total for Mets catchers the last 2 years. It was 11 home runs each year. Josh Tolley.
I do.
He was from our area. Well,
Breeze, Illinois.
Boy, they sure have picked on him since he's been traded away in the R.A. Dickey deal.
Good pitch by Miller, hits the outside corner. Buck not sure about that call. In fact, he had some problems here last night with the umpire. So Tolley struggling with R.A. Dickey?
Apparently.
Really a tough blow to the Mets to lose R.A. Dickey. He was sensational a year ago. He had that knuckleball dancing everywhere, and you get the feeling that maybe he found something and it would be kind of a big time, big game pitcher for years to come, but the Mets chose not to sign him.
Well, they had trouble with the negotiations, and finally they dealt him, and right now it looks like they got it was okay. Worked out well for the Mets. But who's to say R.A. Dickey would have the problems he's having right now if he would have stayed with his old team?
That's right. Terry Collins had a shot at him. The 63-year-old manager for the Mets has tried a lot of different things in the early going, a lot of different combinations, has not hit on the right one other than putting Matt Harvey on the mound.
You only wish he could do it every day.
Dodgers have made news today. They've activated Zach Greinke, who had that injury, that freak injury early in the season.
Broken collarbone in the fight.
Dodgers, like Toronto, a team that's just not playing up to their expectation with all the money that they spent.
Dodgers have a pitcher to be announced. There's some speculation where Greinke would start at the big league level, or I guess Josh Beckett. More bad news for them. They get Greinke back, but then Beckett goes on the DL.
They've had a ton of injuries, and I guess they're just happy when it's Clayton Kershaw's turn.
Don Buck does have those 10 home runs and 30 RBIs, but just a .228 average and a long at bat, 10 pitch. They get 11.
A lot of 3-2 pitch deliveries already for Shelby Miller. He has 3 strikeouts working here in the second inning and has yet to walk a batter.
Well, you know, Ricky, there's a couple things to think about. Go back to the stat you were talking about. It finishes off hitters with the fastball. But one of the things that people don't take in consideration is, say you have a bat like this, that you've used so many different combinations. you know, that fastball at the end may be, you know, the prominent pitch, or it may be the first time a hitter sees it. Can't get it by him.
Keeps pumping in that fastball. And you wonder whether he'll mix in that changeup. We've seen a number of changeups from Miller so far. Full count to John Buck.
Last start, we thought his curveball was the best we'd ever seen.
Fastball misses up, not by much.
One thing in his last start, 13 strikeouts, no walks. A nice hand for Rick Ankiel.
Ankiel joined the Mets 2 days ago, wearing number 16 because of his appreciation for Dwight Gooden as a young pitcher and hitter growing up in Florida. Really admired Dwight Gooden as a major leaguer at the time. Line drive foul. In fact, we have a feature on Rick Ankiel for tomorrow's telecast. Some of the great moments of his career as a Cardinal.
Let the fans pick their favorite. Or should we say most memorable? Because there's one in there which is that horrific collision he had with the wall out in the outfield.
Must have been up.
Looked it was good. Good breaking ball there.
So Miller doesn't get the call. 1-1 to Ankiel. Out in front again on an off-speed pitch. Ankiel did have 5 home runs in the American League to start the season with the Astros, and he was hitting just barely 190. And we know from Ankiel his power potential, and you just wonder why the Astros, who don't really have anything else working right now, didn't just kind of ride along with Rick Ankiel. I guess they just saw enough and cut their ties with him.
I kind of was wondering and questioning why they even signed him, though. They're in such a dramatic rebuilding program. Why not go with one of their young kids?
If they're not ready, you don't want them there, though.
Well,
But maybe they're ready.
Their whole team is not ready.
Right. So the journeyman kind of is your stopgap, I guess, and I would think he would certainly fit that bill. But that's their business.
But it's the strikeouts that are such an alarming rate.
And another full count for Shelby Miller. Pitch count up to 42 already.
Rick has 4 walks and 37 strikeouts.
Something we have not seen with Shelby Miller of late is the high pitch count.
That's one of those things too. You got to see how he reacts. You know, after the complete game, career high in innings pitched. I am of the belief it shouldn't bother him. He's young, strong. It's kind of how you're conditioned today.
The 3-2. He pops him up into shallow center field. John Jay on the move, and it's going to drop. And a quick throw to second base is not in time. Good base running by John Buck. And that'll be a bloop single for Rick Ankiel, just out of the reach of Cosma, just in front of John Jay.
Like a line drive. Like a line drive in the book. Both middle infielders went back on that ball. And so your shortstop and second base, see Scalzo backpedaling, trying to get to the bag. That's a case where Shelby Miller could have helped his own cause.
Sure.
He could have gone to second base.
Sure.
Now you see the 2 infielders. Now you see the Scalzo going back, and Shelby could have gone to that second base bag, and probably Buck would have been safe, but would have looked a little better.
Shelby needs a double play here. 2 Mets aboard in the second.
Tejada's batted all over the place. 5 different spots in the lineup. 213 is the leadoff hitter. 176 is the 8th place hitter, where he's batting now. 462 in the 7th, 3 for 9 in the 9th, and 182 in the 2-hole. Why is he batting in the 8th?
The 0-1. Hit hard to center. John Jay makes the play. He's going to get a double play. In fact, they might have been able to get 3 if they needed it. John Buck thought that ball was going to drop. Base running error. No score from St. Louis. Log on to foxsportsmidwest.com/girls for details and the chance to be the next Kayla, the next Amy, the next Fox Sports Midwest girl. You have just one more day to enter. Warm evening at Busch Stadium. Temperatures in the low 80s. No score. Bottom of the second inning. 4, 5, and 6 for St. Louis, and that means Alan Craig, John Jay, and Tony Cruz against Sean Markham. Markham 0-3 on the season. ERA in the mid-8s. And he's up against Shelby Miller, one of the game's most exciting young pitchers. Interesting. Markham seems like a veteran now that's been around for 20 years, but he's not
quite.
Just 31 years of age.
Yeah, he's with Toronto, right?
Just came up early.
Before Toronto, before he went to Milwaukee.
Game winner with Toronto, and then with Milwaukee in 2011. He was 13-7.
Really short arms the ball.
Sure does.
See a pitcher that really has a long arm action and throws right over the top. Hitters get a good look at the release point. But with a short armor, it's a lot more deceptive, and that ball is sneaky fast, gets on you a little quicker before you pick it up.
one of those guys that had that kind of shoulder, bicep, neck, nerve kind of problem, and it was pretty unspecific. Fly ball to left. And he just really doesn't have the same velocity. Changeup's really his best pitch, but he doesn't have the fastball really to offset it anymore.
What would you say, 10, 11 miles an hour differential between a fastball and a changeup to make it most effective?
Yeah, 9 to 11, I would say.
Yeah, I'm always thinking of the higher velocity than you, Rick.
Well, how about Trevor Rosenthal throwing a 91-mile-an-hour changeup here the other night and having the guy out front?
But there you go. You've got 9, 10 mile an hour difference from his fastball. But 91.
That was ridiculous.
And then, like you said, had him off with the front foot.
He did. He did.
Try and come in on John. He misses location, but it's out of play. John is hit Markham well.
4 for 11 against Markham in his career.
Did you notice who Jaime Garcia is? 500, 1 for 2 and a home run.
I don't think
Kelly is 500.
I don't think we're going to see those guys pinch hit either one of them out. That's where you're going. Way out in front is John Jay on that changeup. First strikeout victim for Markham. Want a great deal on Cardinals tickets? Fill up at Phillips 66 with 8 gallons or more now until June 30th. And receive up to 50% off on a pair of tickets to a Cardinals home game. For more information, visit cardinals.com/Phillips66.
A lot of families here today. They're youngsters.
And over the years, I would say that, and I may be biased, Al, with all of our baseball connection, but you know, people can love all the sports they want to love, but baseball seems to be kind of the best kind of overall sport for a family, for men and women, for boys and girls. I mean, you just get this sense that it's an experience that people appreciate despite age.
Well, it's still the most affordable of the major sports.
Even that age, welcome at the ballpark.
And of course, this is such a friendly and family environment here.
David Wright makes another nice play. He's very smooth with that glove at third. That's why he's got 2 gold gloves. Usual all season long. Another Cardinal who has given us a lot of thrills along the way, is Chris Carpenter. And for more on him, we go to our Jim Hayes. What do you got, Jim?
Well, as you guys referenced, a big day for Chris Carpenter today. A youth baseball field dedicated in his name. He also threw a bullpen. Carpenter was telling us before the game he'll throw again on Saturday. Then he plans 2 more sessions next week. At that time, he's hoping to have some sort of rehab schedule laid out. He says he's very encouraged with the way he's pitching, but he won't feel close until a rehab program is laid out in writing, so he knows where he's going to go and what he's going to do. For the time being, he says he's going to focus on doing the things he needs to do to show the Cards he's ready.
Thanks, Jim. Shelby Miller facing Markham here in the 3rd inning. And interesting that Chris Carpenter, guys, is really open to the rehab and going down to the minor leagues to get it right before he works at this level.
Well, he realized last year that he wasn't right. And, you know, that rule is put in for the benefit of the player. To get him ready without having to rush back or risk coming back too soon and hurting yourself.
Interesting, too. He says he's still putting no expectations. He's saying if it happens, when it happens. But you can sense by the way he's saying it, he feels pretty good about where he is. And then you talk to some of the teammates that were up close when he was throwing the bullpens and side sessions, and they say he's looking very good.
And, Jim, I would say that's the best news all day here at the ballpark, only topped by your Bird is the Word segment in the pregame show. I was riveted by that. John Costello was with you. Did you enjoy that?
Yeah, he was there. I think all of the Midwest was riveted. Now, there were a couple of kinks to work out, and I think Al would agree. I would say it's a work in progress, guys.
Well, I enjoyed it.
Thanks, Rick.
I did. I loved it. 1-2 to Markham. Curveball misses.
As much as I like the cat value,
yeah,
I think this has much stronger potential.
I would agree. I would agree.
I think you're going to be on the game show circuit pretty soon, Cat.
Sounds like you're hoping for that, Al.
No. Unless he takes us with him. See Bob Barker and the Cat.
Caught the ball. Is he going to give it up?
That pretty little girl.
Oh, he's got 2 of them there, though.
He got a couple girls to choose from.
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Dad? Who do you love more? You know, that question's coming. Hard hit by the pitcher, Markham. Leadoff base hit for the Mets here in the top of the 3rd inning.
Now he's hitting like a shortstop.
MLB.TV is celebrating 11 years with new low yearly prices. Watch every out-of-market game live on over 350 supported mobile and connected devices in HD quality with MLB.TV Premium. Visit MLB.TV today. MLB.TV is baseball everywhere. High pitch count for Miller. Back to the top of the order. And it may be one of those grinders for Shelby tonight. Think about grinder games, Al. I think about the last time we saw Lance Lynn.
It was a grinder early for him, but then he figured it out. And he and the umpire got on the same page with the strike zone.
Good fastball by Miller. That had some hop to it at 93. Folks have been asking me a lot about Shelby Miller. Basically every place I go, he's maybe one of the biggest topics of conversation. We look at Lance Lynn, who had that grinding victory against the Mets in game 1 of this series. But one of the things I say about Shelby is he throws 93, but it looks faster. And I'm not even sure what I fully mean by that, but there's a fact that some guys, Al, that when you look at the gun only, it doesn't tell the whole story.
Exactly. We've seen some relievers that are not here. I'm thinking like Michael Clato. And you see the gun, and then it just translate when you watch the hitter just attack and center the ball. Hit it so easily.
2-1 is hit long down the right field line. He's pulled it, foul. You know, when I think of guys like that, there's two names that come to mind. Both of them are left-handers, and we used to chart behind home plate. We'd sit next to the guy with the gun. One is Jim DeShays, our friend that now is broadcasting for the Cubs. Many years did that with the Astros. And Sid Fernandez. Both of those guys did not throw faster than 85 or 86 miles an hour.
And they threw up in the zone.
Hard, it looked like.
Hitters just never, you know, strikeout. Well, Fernandez was a guy that struck out a lot and would have a potential no-hitter, it seemed like gave up very few hits.
Fernandez played some time with the Mets.
Yes.
Really made his mark with the Mets. Had a goofy delivery and kind of awkward, but you're right.
Pushed the ball right out of the jersey, and was always high, and just nobody ever really hit the ball. Funky swings at it. Shays was like on borrowed time. He actually pitched. It was like 0-6 or something, about to be sent down, and then he pitched a game against the Cardinals, and it was like a 2-hit shutout, and that kept him around for a bunch of years.
Two and two to Baxter. No quick out so far for Shelby Miller. High fly ball to right. Beltran settles under it. We talked about the command of Shelby Miller. How's he doing on that score?
Well, you've seen at times he's hit the ball, you know, he's throwing the ball really well in location, but you just kind of wonder why he's not having the same results. Look at these up and in, down and away, breaking balls, fastballs. But there's something about it today. It's like you say, it's a little more of a struggle. He's already had 4 base runners, a hit per inning, had 1 walk in the second, and maybe just a little more of a struggle, but he's still hitting good spots.
Our Chevy replays. Hard hit to left. Holiday moves over into the gap and makes the play. Hustles the ball back into Hosmer. No score in the third. One of our favorite times of the night. Our carsoup.com email the booth question. Thayer from Florissant, Missouri, asks us this question. Do you guys think that Matt Harvey and Shelby Miller have what it takes to be great?
Well, they have what it takes, but time will determine whether they have the good fortune of health and, you know, playing with good ball clubs. You know, look at Shelby's off to a good start. Harvey is off to a great start for the Mets, but he's the only one there. Not much run support. He's 4-0, and probably his other 3 or 4 appearances probably would have been wins with a team generating enough offense. So you have to say they have the ability, but time will tell.
And when we say great, we're talking about somebody who's a top 3 or 4 guy for 10 to 15 years in the league. That's what we're talking about, defining somebody at that upper level. And there's an awful lot of talented people in baseball, and there have been over the years. And I think of Dwight Gooden. Would you say Dwight Gooden was a great pitcher? I'm probably not.
For a couple years.
But he sure was the best pitcher in the game when he was 19 years old.
Yes, and put it this way, he should have had a much, much longer and better career than he did, but we know about some of these circumstances.
Curveball catches David Wright looking. Schnucks, your neighborhood hometown grocer. And the Chipotle Chicken Club Combo is back for a limited time at Jack in the Box. Try one today with fries and a drink for just $4.99 plus tax. Getting a ride at the ballpark. No score. And a nice hello to you. Enjoy Cardinal baseball. Daniel Descalzo, Pete Kozma, and Shelby Miller, as Sean Markham has retired all 6 Cardinals so far tonight, and he's part of a staff that just is not performing well. We talked about what Matt Harvey's doing, but the rest of the Mets have not collectively done a very good job pitching.
See the high ERA, the highest in the National League. Brewers are struggling too. The Padres, we'll see them on our first stop on the road trip starting Monday. And the Marlins, I think, was to be expected.
Cardinals first in the league in ERA at 3.06. The Mets last. Cardinals third in hitting. The Mets next to last. But as Tony La Russa taught us over the years, you still have to play the game.
Thank goodness, too.
Makes it fun. Never know what's going to happen. Daniel Descalzo trying to inch back up over 200. He had a rough start with the bat, but he swung the bat better of late. Takes a curveball for a strike. Very valuable member of this Cardinal team because of his versatility. I like his leadership, his attitude, work ethic, and I like that base hit to right.
He's put in the lineup today because he was 3 for 5 prior to this pitch off of Markham. Set up away. Pretty much hit his spot, but he rolls over on it and pulls it through the right side.
So that's an 85-mile-an-hour fastball from Sean Markham, and we saw Trevor Rosenthal throw a 91-mile-an-hour changeup the other night.
Tough leg.
It is a tough leg. Pete Kozma doing okay in this league, average at 250, and Mike Matheny dressing a crowd. Now we were fortunate enough to be a part of today, the Cardinal radio affiliates here at the ballpark having their annual event, and Mike Matheny addressing that crowd was very praiseworthy of Pete Kozma, talking about the upside and the fact that he's catching everything. He's not making the big errors.
That's it. 1 error on the season. He got the day off yesterday. He's been a little funk offensively, but as Mike was saying, as long as he catches everything, he's our guy. And they're very pleased. And I think with his 14 RBIs, I mean, he's gotten some big hits.
You could find any fault with Pete Kozma. It's more to do with his range up the middle. His arm has been good. He makes the right throws. Actually has more range going into the hole, which is backwards for a shortstop. Usually you've got more range to your glove side, but it seems to me that he takes too many multiple steps when he goes to his left and not quite as comfortable with it.
But as Mike said, he's improving in that area, and I'm sure working with Oquendo every day and listening to him, you know, that we'll see that improvement continue.
Well, you have to be honest and identify it. And you have to admit you've got it, and then you have to work on getting rid of it. And I think Kozma is the kind of player that is coachable and teachable.
Exactly.
Nubber is foul. I remember that story Dal Maxfield used to tell about a particular shortstop, and I won't mention who he is, but he was traded for Ozzie Smith. That in one spring training, Dal Maxfield went up to him. He was an infield instructor, kind of there as a kind of a guest instructor, and he went up to him and said, "Okay, let me show you some things about shortstop." And the response he got back was, "That's not how I do it." So Dal said, "Okay, never mind," and went home.
I saw that particular shortstop one time. It's not Ozzie. And I saw him one time at the old Astrodome. There's Ed Herman was, you know, a catcher from the American League, and Didn't run well. Let's just put it at catcher's speed. And hit a BB to Tempe. And he bounced it twice like a basketball and then threw him out in his rookie year.
Oh, my. There's no denying he was a great talent.
Oh, and I mean, there's a guy that, you know, later on he figured things out. He became a good team leader. And
sure did.
Became a good teammate and everything, but it was too late to really display that awesome talent that he had.
Run attempt. Cosma missed it.
He was trying to ask for the swing, and they do call it a strike. I believe the count's 2-2.
Mark Wegner did not see that Cosma had offered at that. John Buck asked him to get some help from Las Diaz. They got the call right.
Well, turn around and look at the size of our umpire to the size of our catcher.
No wonder he couldn't see.
Buck stood up. He blocked his view. He couldn't see.
Scalzo, the runner at first. He has 3 stolen bases, not going. Ball in the dirt. And there's the size difference we're talking about. He is, I would say, a head taller.
Sometimes a catcher with a runner on will pop up and take pitches away from the pitcher. Be a strike, but blocks the view of the umpire, and he just can't see that low part of the strike zone, and you have to accept it.
There goes to Scalzo, fouls it off.
Buck's been throwing out 33% of runners attempting to steal, but on the 3-2 pitch, Mike trying to get something going.
Bullpen umpire Mark Wegner from St. Paul, Minnesota. And the umpire guide does not list their height. So I can't help you with that.
5'7", 5'8".
That's assuming that the Scalzo will be taking off again.
And of course, everyone remembers I used to be 6'8".
You did.
Started having these spine surgeries and I'm shrunk down to my present size. That in old age.
I understand. There goes to Scalzo again. Another foul ball by Cosma, so we'll have to retreat back. And we'll try it again. Out of 3-2 pitches in this game in the early going. And that was kind of the way the game started here in game 1. Really slow the first few innings, kind of just long pitch counts, and both clubs really feeling each other out. And we had a lot of base runners and actually had a lot of runs in that particular game, and then pitchers settled down. Lance Lynn and Jeremy Hefner, and had a crisp, clean start. Scalzo going again. Right, making the play again.
Stayed out of a double play, starting the runner.
Sure did. Time for our AT&T Twitter poll. Who has been the Cardinals' offensive MVP? We're only going to give you 3 opportunities here. It's either Yadier Molina, Carlos Beltran, or Alan Craig. Who do you think has been the Cardinals' offensive MVP? You got average, you got RBIs, you got home runs, kind of spread out among those 3. And we'd love for you to vote. And I have a suspicion I know how that vote's going to turn out, but I'm not going to tell you.
I know where you're going. Talking about the popularity contest someone's going to turn it into.
And speaking of Mr. Popular, Mike Matheny had a great thing to say about Yadier Molina at that event today. He said he seldom talks, but he's always leading. Said he really chooses his words wisely in the clubhouse among the players, but he lets his preparation and his work ethic speak for who he is as a big league catcher. And guys follow him.
He's even impressed his brother Benji, getting a chance to watch him every day.
Not arbitrary choices for our Twitter poll. There's a reason we picked those three particular players, and we'll show that to you now. Cardinals rank in Triple Crown stats. Triple Crown, of course, is average home runs and RBIs. And all three of those guys are up among the league leaders in those particular categories.
Beltran, see, second in the National League with 10 home runs, tied for second. He's got 26 RBIs. Alan Craig leads the team with RBIs with 30.
And our post-game producer, Max Linewan, tells us that Wegner, the home plate umpire, is 5'8", and Max knows a lot.
I said 5'7" or 8". You know, he might have getting older like me and shrinking. I don't know if I'm correct or not, but I remember some very fine games that Marcus had back behind the plate.
Matt Carpenter also a part of an event today. I had a chance to interview him and MC an event for the Scholar Athletes. The St. Louis Post-Dispatch invited 150 Scholar Athletes to the ballpark today. We had a nice reception for them, and if you've not picked up that edition today of the Post-Dispatch, I highly recommend it. I had a chance this morning to read about all those young men and women and all their accomplishments, and it really kind of makes you feel good about the next level for these young athletes and their aspirations. And Matt Carpenter was able to communicate with these youngsters. That ball painting the outside corner on Carpenter. And he is one of just 25 big league players that has his college degree. Matt Carpenter,
only 25,
has a degree in communications from TCU, and told these young kids that academics matters. And they, and then of course he said, but you already know that because you're Scholar Athletes. He was terrific today.
That's unbelievable. It's down.
Cardinals have two. Carpenter and Alan Craig with college degrees. Descalzo the runner at second. No score, bottom of the third. Rick Horton, Al Raboski, and Jim Hayes.
This crowd trying to come alive. Said this game just kind of dragged on a little bit. Now they're starting to wake up.
Two-out hit will wake them up. Cardinals have been good at that.
Saw where Johnny Cueto has been gotten a clear sign that he'll pitch against the Mets in New York on Monday. Cincinnati is leading 4-0 over Miami. That's in the 7th inning. Pittsburgh's got a 2-1 lead on Milwaukee, top of the 8th.
Nearly over the head of John Buck. And that's hard to do. He's 6'2", but he looks a little bigger than that to me behind the plate.
I agree.
We're going to talk about this particular pitch. 2-2 count to Carpenter. Carpenter's had a good homestand out. On base, as we mentioned, 4 times yesterday, but 3 times in game 1 of this series.
He's got a 7-game hitting streak, 10 for 26, 4 for 7 in this series, and 7 for 18 on the homestand. And then talk about all the runs scored and the walks to get on base to score.
A lot of good at-bats from Matt Carpenter. Crowd definitely into this at-bat. Those Scholar athletes here cheering him on. There's the numbers you talked about this homestand. Just keep getting better and better. Descalzo at second. He led off with a base hit. Changeup out in front is Carpenter, and a rare strikeout for Carpenter ends the third. No score from St. Louis. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the St. Louis Cardinals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. No score through 3 at Busch Stadium. Very pleasant evening for baseball. Game 3 of this 4-game series. The Cardinals have taken the first 2, including a 10-4 victory here last night. Ike Davis, Lucas Duda, and John Buck scheduled to bat for New York. Changeup. Looks like it's going to produce an out. Who wants it? Carpenter calls off Cruz. And Ike Davis is retired. Very apparent today that Shelby Miller is trying to mix in more changeups.
Sometimes it's interesting to see the difference of the catcher and see what one catcher will call one of those secondary pitches more than the other. But you're right. Tony Cruz using the changeup we saw in his last outing. We thought it was the best curveball we saw. Molina was catching him there. No right or wrong, because you're going to need all of them as the season goes along.
Eventually. You think that possibly could have come from Derek Lilliquist in their pregame plan?
Could have, but I don't see why you would think this was such a, I mean, not that it's such a good hitting team, but the Colorado is one of the best hitting teams. They weren't hitting at that time. Change up there. maybe they just feel he doesn't have the same finish to his fastball tonight. Going, a career high in pitches his last start.
2-0 to Duda. Of course, it's also possible that there's a reason the team's not hitting well because they can't hit off-speed pitches.
Sure.
It's not always a fastball reality.
But you also, Rick, and you know that you still have to believe your fastball is better than their best fastball hitting.
No question.
Hitters.
No question. A little late on that swing, just by a tad, is Lucas Duda, who has very good power, and he just missed that one. Perhaps his ball got away from him a little bit in the zone, but
supposed to be inside, but you can see it's out away from him. And so trying to take that up the middle, he's just trying to jack it out and got underneath.
John Buck walked
after
in the second.
Very lengthy at bat.
Like to see Shelby Miller have some short pitch counts here in the middle innings. Can't always control that, though, can you?
No. Hitters kind of, like I say, a lot of her fouled off pitches. Looks at a fastball.
We had some reports on this Mets team that they really take a lot of pitches and they really focus and think a lot about on base, and it seems as if they've kind of lost some of their aggressiveness. A lot of deep counts.
Here's Shelby now. This time, instead of messing around with all the pitches, going right after him with the fastball. 0-2. Fastball.
It's like he wants it up.
The ladder. Wanted it up higher than that. I don't think we give enough credit to what Derek Lilliquist has done and his communication and working with Mike Matheny, pushing these guys to, to excellence. Breaking ball, curveball.
So we had a good shot there, Al, of a pitcher and catcher on a split screen, and in the Cardinals dugout we've got an ex-pitcher standing next to an ex-catcher. You'd think that Lilliquist might be thinking, what would I throw in this situation? And Matheny might be thinking, what would I call if I was catching?
I bet that goes on a lot. And here he goes down, talks to his pupils a little bit about what's going on. Another curveball. He wants it bounced. He didn't want it. Wants a fastball away and up. Had that 0-4 and or 0-2, and now all of a sudden there's what, 4 or 5 pitches being thrown. Fastball in.
And it was too far in.
Got it in.
It's John Buck. He's the base runner with 2 outs. Like that fastball just got away from him. 75 pitches already.
Well,
for Shelby.
And this is what people, all the time think, like, well, how can you hit somebody? You got to have better control. Well, you know what the difference between that ball hitting him and a ball missing out over the middle of the plate that hits for a home run? It's just a fraction of inches.
Another changeup. First pitch to Ankiel, and
now with Ankiel, I'm sure that's a good pitch.
Yeah.
But I'm sure he won't catch up to his fastball either if he throws it in good location.
And without giving away too many specifics of it, you can see Shelby Miller's curve changeup coming.
Yes.
And the great terminology now is to call that tipping the pitch, but he's just doing some things in his motion that's just a little bit different, and you can see him slowing down his delivery. You mentioned it earlier, not really finishing the pitch. And if we can see it here, the hitter can certainly see it in the box.
No doubt. And there's plenty of time to work on that pitch and make it a real weapon.
There was a time in Miller's minor league career where all he wanted to do was throw fastballs. And they tried to get him to throw off-speed pitches, and he wouldn't. And they kept forcing him. And they, at one point now, they were actually calling every pitch for him and told him, "You got to throw what we put down."
Well, and that was because they knew when he got to this level, he would need those secondary pitches.
There goes the runner. Here's a throw to second base, and he is out. Tony Cruz throws out John Buck stealing, and he helps out Shelby Miller here in the 4th inning. With all of his struggles, 4 zeros for the young Texan. Sean Markham, Shelby Miller, our starters here. Markham hitting 86 miles an hour, and Shelby Miller topping out at 96.
Markham's changeup / fastball at 86 would be great with Shelby's 96 fastball.
Carlos Beltran leads it off for the Cardinals in the 4th. And he takes a strike at the knees from Sean Markham. Not overpowering. We saw in that Charter high-speed pitch, but been effective so far tonight. Just one Cardinal hit. Backpedaling. David Wright has it.
Target down and in, and the ball right down the middle, but up, and gets underneath it and pops it up. Ricky, it happens at times, but right now these Mets starters got to feel like they've got to throw a shutout in order to get something positive, but no decision or potential win.
And always in the back of their mind, they understand what they have out in their bullpen through 7 through 9.
Yeah,
that's been a big problem for them.
Yeah, their bullpen has allowed 4 runs in 4 innings last night, and the pen has posted a 4.89 ERA.
Ground ball left side, base hit. High bouncer past David Wright. Cardinals' second hit of the night.
Ground ball pitcher. Looks like it's out away from him, rolls over on it, but this time it goes through on the left side, just beyond the reach. Sunday shows you how close that is to the All-Star, Gold Glover at third, face of their franchise, and maybe more wealthy than their owners now. I understand David Wright has made some very, very savvy stock purchases. Maybe like
right?
got in the ground level on Snapple.
Is that right? Good for him. New York fans love him.
Somebody told me. That makes a better story, whether it's true or not.
I've always heard that about Ty Cobb, who was not one of the most loved players, but he was in on the ground call of Coca-Cola.
And Ty Cobb was, one of the original big stockholders of Coca-Cola.
Alan Craig looking fastball, and he didn't get it, so he takes that pitch. 2-1 the count. Holiday, the runner at first, 1 out, and the Cardinals fourth, trying to find their offense. We mentioned again at the top that the Cardinals have been very good offensively in the month of May. Batting average over 300. We've seen more power from this team, including a couple of home runs from this batter, Alan Craig. Mentioned one of 2 Cardinals with a degree. If I remember correctly, his degree is in finance. Exactly sure of that.
Well, he can help their state economy then. Went to Berkeley.
Markham's average against, first time through the lineup, not very good. Last time even worse. The 2-2. Fly ball to center. And Keel has it. Fans, you've known for years that StubHub is a great place to find the seats you want to see the Cardinals live. Now they've added StubHub fan rewards, so you can earn a little extra with your tickets, like seat upgrades. So head to StubHub and get your Cardinals tickets today. John Jay struck out in the second. He's had a couple of Cardinals out on that front foot with his changeup. Again, the best pitch that Markham throws. Hole on the right side as Davis holds Holiday there. Hard hit, right center field gap. It's down and it's to the wall. Here comes Holiday. He's rounding third. Oquendo's sending him. The throw goes to third base, and now John Jay is in a rundown, and they drop the ball. And John Jay is safe at third. We may have an argument about that, but there's no argument about the Cardinals leading 1-0.
Now with 2 outs, once that ball leaves the bat, you're going to be off to the races. So Holiday, and then he gives a look out there. He sees it's in the gap. He's got an idea that Oquendo's going to send him on home. Oquendo tried to hold John Jay at second base, but there the change of direction. He started to throw home, then he saw that John Jay was there, and he didn't do anything. Now, if those arms would have gone out or something like this, but now watch him. His arms are close to his body. And just somehow the contact with his upper shoulder or something just knocked the ball out of David Wright's glove, and it's a double RBI E5. And look at this nice little slide, but oh, put your foot on the bag.
So an interesting trip from home to third for John Jay, but there he is.
Now we got to drive him in, Tony Cruz.
Bet you do. Opportunity for the Cardinals to tack on.
Tony trying to pick up his second RBI of the season.
It was interesting on that rundown too. There was nobody at second base, and
right.
Kendo was telling Jay to
just run back to second.
But he missed that memo.
He missed the memo, and it worked out well.
And anybody that has been in an office environment knows you miss the memo every once in a while. Tony Cruz looking to get his offensive season on track. Very hard to do with limited playing time.
Tony understands, and it's one of the loneliest jobs being a backup catcher to Yadier Molina, but I give him so much kudos because he keeps himself ready. He understands that role, and he works really hard for when he gets the opportunity to make the most of it.
Line drive, base hit to left, off the end of the bat, but the Cardinals do tack on. RBI single for Tony Cruz. 2-0 St. Louis. And Yadier Molina cheers him on.
He's 2 for 10 with 2 RBIs now for Tony Cruz, and that makes Yadi feel a lot better when his replacement can get a big hit. Look at that big looping, breaking ball, and he stays with it. Gets right off the end of the bat, but it's an RBI single. And like I said, Yadi's going to be cheering him on, and makes it a little easier for when you're a regular and you miss a start and your replacement does well. And you know that things are going right because he did need some rest.
You just don't want him to be Lou Gehrig.
No.
That's the great baseball story, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Wally Pipp.
Hey, kid. You know, like, hey, kid, talking to Lou Gehrig, you know, hey, take over me. I'm not feeling well today.
Had a headache, didn't he?
Had a headache. I think he had a headache and never got back on the playing field.
So Tony Cruz, big hit here in the 4th inning, extending the Cardinals lead. He out-hit the Mets 4-3. Yadi, a very interested bystander.
And once again, the theme of 2 out base hits. This season, the Cardinals have been remarkable in that category, and that's a killer to the opposition, especially the manager. Thinks his pitcher's out of it.
And that here we go again mentality surfacing, I'm sure, for the Mets here in the 4th inning. And even David Wright makes an error to prolong the inning.
Been on teams when you know you take the field, you know you're going to end up with a victory. And
somehow
been on teams too where you don't know how it's going to happen, but you know you're going to lose. Remember, Descalzo's in the lineup because he was 3 for 5 in the past against Markham. He got a base hit his first time up.
Quick move. Back is Cruz. You mentioned the tough job that the backup catcher has. One, I would say, great advancement that's happened in baseball in the last 20 years for that guy in that position is he doesn't have to catch everybody all day long like he used to. team employs a couple of bullpen catchers that help with that job. And as simple as that sounds, the wear and tear of coming out to the ballpark at 2 o'clock and catching all the bullpens and catching all the starters and catching all the relievers during a game, that would wear guys out.
There's no doubt about it.
Descalzo strikes out. Cardinals do some damage, get a couple of runs, and that sweet little girl thankful for the baseball. Thank you, sir. June 15th. For more information and to join the St. Louis Blues and Fox Sports Midwest teams, go to stlouisblues.com. Good season for the Blues. Exciting hockey. Folks in St. Louis absolutely love their Blues, and they love their Cardinals as well. 2-0 St. Louis through 4. Shelby Miller. We have talked about him not actually hitting his spots out, but he's still putting zeros on the board.
Sign of a, I always say, sign of a good pitcher is when he can win when he doesn't have his best stuff.
Being caught by Tony Cruz, trying to get him through it, and Tony helping out with the bat in the 4th inning. Loop single for Ann Keel in the 2nd.
Towards the end of Rick's time here in St. Louis, he really struggled with fastballs up. You could get him with any kind of breaking ball away.
Fastball in is popped up to 3rd. Matt Carpenter calling for it. One out, the Mets 5th. Cardinals with the best record in baseball coming in to play tonight. They'll play the Mets again in June, the 11th through the 13th at Citi Field. And we mentioned the Blues. There's still some hockey fans representing here tonight.
Yankees are probably going to lose. They're trailing by 10, moving to the bottom of the 9th. Texas has 25 wins. They already won today, so it's 26. And the Cardinals have one fewer loss than Texas. So that's the battle for the best record in baseball.
You mentioned Al the Cueto news earlier. The Reds on top of the Marlins again, and they have won 4 straight as well. Cosma, very smooth. Seems to be getting better and better with those hands at shortstop. He throws out Tejada.
Want you to catch everything that you should catch, and you always love to see a fielder use that bare hand to trap the ball. Just nice and fluid the way he came in on the ball, and knees flexed.
What I always see, and when you think about Ozzie Smith, you always think about the ball coming into the body, like you're feeling it out in front of you, and the smooth, soft hands, kind of just bringing it to your core.
Keep the hands down, because
we had a good view of that on that last replay.
Easier bringing the ball up, bringing the glove up, than trying to push it down.
Hard hit by Markham.
Nope.
But not hard enough. Matt Holliday has it. That ball's a souvenir. 5 scoreless for Shelby. Hits in this ball game. What's on tap brought to you by Budweiser. The Cardinals and the Mets go at it one more time. It'll be tomorrow at noon on Fox Sports Midwest. Jonathan Neese, the left-hander, who's had 4 starts in his career, good ones against the Cardinals. He's 2-1 with a good earned run average. He will be opposed by Adam Wainwright.
Take my chances with Adam.
Very comfortable evening. Warmer temperatures here in the Midwest. Low 80s most of the day. And not a lot of breeze here at the ballpark. That would be affecting play. 8-9-1 for the Cardinals in the 5th.
Never really know how a ballpark's going to play until you start playing games in it. But they wanted this ballpark to be neutral. Wanted to be fair to pitchers and hitters, and it plays that way.
I think so. Curveball hangs a bit, but it's a high strike to Cosmo.
Citi Field in New York was just a massive ballpark that they had to bring the fences in just to generate a little more offense.
Fred Bird doing his work in the background. That section right behind the Mets dugout. Pete Kozma doing his work at the plate. Think Fred Bird's ever been hit with a foul ball?
I don't think so.
Just kind of flies away.
It's a foul.
Oh, I get it. I didn't even know what I was saying. Not the first time.
Redbird had a leaking nest, and he had our good friends from Helitech repair his nest.
Seems pretty happy tonight. Picking
That's
on
right,
those
Dad.
youngsters. Careful, guys. Always tough to do here at the ballpark. 2-2 to Kozma. Over is Davis, and he has room. There's a man here at the ballpark that's got to be very, very happy with what he's seeing from his young pitchers. And he has a fairly good seat here at the ballpark tonight, and that is the Cardinal general manager, John Mozeliak.
They're doing down there.
We usually see him up here.
See him up on our level. Tom Mozeliak and the Cardinals have something going really nice going here. You think about the success they have here at the major league level and how strong the minor league system is right now.
He had
no reason to think that it's going to slow down.
Agreed. He had an interesting comment today at that event we were at. They asked him about, you get a lot of calls for players.
Right.
And he said, not as many as you think, but what people are trying to find out is how the system is working so well for us. They're trying to kind of feel him out, not for players, but how do you do this? How do you do that? How do your scouts go about their work? Alan Bennis in that photo. And we see Eddie Lynch in that as well, former Met pitcher
and general manager.
There's Alan Bennis on the left side sitting next to Mike Jorgensen, former Cardinal manager, and 3 to the right of Alan Bennis is Ed Lynch.
There he is.
That's Ed. Ed Lynch, one of those guys, didn't throw very hard either, but knew how to pitch.
If I'm not mistaken, he has a law degree. Mr. Lynch.
Very heady player. Turned it in a front office career, as did Mike Jorgensen, former teammate of mine, and I guess yours. Did you play with Jorgen?
I played against him.
Ground ball to short. Also came up with the Mets. So a lot of ties in this game of baseball. Carpenter bounces out. 1-2-3 inning for Markham. On to the 6th. offensive MVP, and we have the closest Twitter poll in the history of Twitter polls. I guess. Yadier Molina wins with 34%.
I knew you were thinking that Yadi would win in a popularity contest.
Sure
but,
did.
The fans have spoken.
Well, I think that's
very
a good,
close,
balanced understanding of what Beltran brings to the club offensively in terms of his power numbers and just how important, maybe even a bit of a surprise that Alan Craig got so many votes, but I'm okay with that, with his RBI production.
Sure. I mean, he leads the trio in RBIs and ranks up there amongst the leaders. Beltran a couple behind him. And he's second in home runs. Yadi in top 5 in batting average. Like he's worn down a little bit to where he's got better command. Maybe 87 pitches, so six or seven innings once again.
There's that changeup again, and a good one this time. 1-2 at the knees to Baxter. Seth Maness lays Ilsley on the phone, relaying the message. And a call, third strike on a curveball that catches the outside corner. That's the second time that he gets Baxter. Is it a strike?
Tony did a nice job of framing it, and it's in the vicinity. Bring him up. That's strikeout number 5.
Line drive into the left field corner. Murphy has had quite a series. A 1-out double, his first hit of the night. But he is a tough out.
3 hits the first game, 2 hits yesterday, and now his first hit here. So he's one of their bigger threats right now. It's down into the left field corner, so he's going to take off running. Knows he should have extra bases, and he does. It's kind of a tough part of the order, and you're going to see now not only Maness but Schote has joined him in the Cardinal pen.
Yadi helping out, getting pitchers loose. There goes the runner Murphy. Quick throw to third, not in time as he stole that base off of Shelby Miller, and he looks a little bewildered that pitch actually was not called a strike. He's kind of complaining about that, but beyond that, he should be bewildered about this jump.
Well, he's going to have to start paying more attention to these base runners. You know, they're second steal tonight, but I think it's 5 or 6 for 6 coming into today's action.
Curveball. And a nice one to David Wright, evens the count. A mild complaint from Shelby Miller on that first pitch, thinking that it should have been a strike.
Tony Cruz seeing the guy going, you know, might have popped up a little bit, but
the 1-1. Good pitch in on the hands of Wright.
Now he has 2 strikes on him. This would be a time for the strikeout. Tony Cruz is going to go out there and talk about this pitch right now, what they want to do, keep this shutout intact and 2-0 lead intact. Common denominator of years ago when there was no weightlifting was strength of wrist and forearms and power hitters.
Watch out. Up and in, backs right off the plate. Might make the rest of this at bat a little bit more uncomfortable.
Isn't that the goal of a pitcher?
I would say the ultimate goal is to get him out, and comfort should not be a goal. Yes, make him uncomfortable. That helps you get him out. Two and two to right. Fastball misses high. Think of uncomfortable at bats. Some guys come to mind for me. Mitch Williams comes to mind.
I mean, it's just if the guy's wild. Effectively wild is a very good term for a pitcher. Hitters aren't too sure. They're very tentative in that box, and that's a good way to have a hitter hit if you're a pitcher.
I would guess Don Drysdale would have been like that. We talk about Gibson all the time, rightfully so, but I think Don Drysdale was.
And when Drysdale was broadcasting, it was almost comical when he would criticize somebody for pitching inside.
Full count. Closing in on 100 pitches for Shelby Miller. Swing and a miss, and he strikes out David Wright. 96 up in the zone.
Reached back for it. Finally got to it. What he was looking for. Four-seam fastball has a tendency to have a little giddy up, a little hop on it. When Shelby throws it, it has that real late movement. Hitter will say it explodes right as it's coming into the strike zone. Mike Davis, 121 with runners in scoring position. On the road, he's hitting 143. 169 is his average. His last 10 games, 172. And Mike Matheny is going to make a pitching change and bring in Randy Choate, his left-handed specialist.
Matheny out to get the baseball. Choate coming in. As high as $21 with 7 wins. That would mean free tickets. Cardinals are currently 2-0 since we've started this promotion. How high will the discount go? Stay tuned and save. For details, visit cardinals.com/win. Our Chevy call to the bullpen, the left-hander Randy Choate. I would say, Al, a good situation for him. Lefty at the plate. Only the 6th inning, but Shelby Miller really worked hard to get this far.
Yeah, and Shelby got that big strikeout. Makes a lot of difference, you know, having that runner at third and one out. You've got a Ike Davis who is struggling right here. This is the role that Randy Schote was acquired for, signed to a 3-year contract.
Ground ball to right side. Is it that easy? Randy Schote, 1 pitch, 1 out. Mets strand their 4th. Cardinals 2, Mets nothing. Alternate logo courtesy of U.S. Cellular, the official wireless provider of the St. Louis Cardinals. 25,000 fans ages 16 and older will receive the adult cap at the Friday, May 17th Cardinals versus the Brewers game. Visit cardinals.com/promotions. 2-0 St. Louis. Cardinals batting in the bottom of the 6th inning. The shift is on again for Carlos Beltran. Swings at the first pitch. We've seen him do quite a bit of that. And a high fly ball to Ankiel. And Beltran is retired. Beltran, by the way, hit a ball up there in this series. Say good morning to the new Egg White Delight McMuffin. 8 grams of whole grain and just 250 calories at McDonald's.
That very late confirmation. But anybody who had that ticket stub from last night's ball game walked into McDonald's today and got a free Big Mac.
Nice.
Compliments of Carlos Beltran.
And we hope you said gracias when you picked up that Big Mac. Often see Yadier Molina sitting in the bullpen this late in the ball game. At least not in the last few years we haven't. Wow.
Look out.
And our advice to fans, as always, when a ball's hit that hard, run for the hills.
Not too sure that guy tried to charge that line drive and got it off the jaw. I think he'd be out cold if he did.
And what we always say to that is Oquendo backs up a few more feet. He can't be much further away, can he? That's funny. Look where Jose Oquendo is. See if we can get a shot of Cheo, third base coach.
Back there looking at that gentleman.
He's not. There's the box. Where is he?
There he is.
Playing left field. You blame him?
Nope.
Umpires near him. Hopped up on the infield. Who wants it? Nobody. Well, now the first baseman, Davis, comes in to retire Holiday. The Cardinals, Fox Sports, and the state of Missouri are teaming up to help you stop smoking. For more information, call the Quit line at 1-800-QUIT-NOW. Six straight retired by Sean Markham. Really hasn't pitched that poorly. A couple of runs in that fourth inning and really should have gotten away with just one. Cardinals have only managed 4 hits. Really a good outing for him. I would say very good outing for him. But Shelby Miller bent a little bit but didn't break. Just 4 hits, 1 walk for Miller. 6 strikeouts, and his ERA, Al, now down to 1.40. Didn't move much.
Unbelievable.
David Wright. Wow, is he good. 1, 2, 3 go the Cardinals. On to the 7th. 2-0 St. Louis. The Cardinals starter Shelby Miller, 6 strikeouts here tonight.
Got off to a good start in the first inning. He's actually struck out the side. Then he picked up a 4th one in the 3rd. And then in the 6th inning, he got 2 more to make him 6, including David Wright. Randy Choate came out of the bullpen. He got Ike Davis. He'll pitch to Lucas Duda. And then we'll bring in Seth Maness. Just like that, right?
Just 1 pitch, 1 out, by the way.
Let me just say this. He will get out Lucas Duda,
yep,
and then we bring in Seth Maness.
Maness is ready. You know, the other option that Mike Matheny would have would be to leave him in for Rick Ankiel. But then you'd have to let him pitch to John Buck, and I'm just not sure he's going to let that happen. I think you're right.
Don't want to overwork him either.
He's thrown 2 pitches already.
His 13th appearance.
He's used to work, though. That's what you like about Randy Choate. One of the reasons why the Cardinals signed him.
He's used to appearances.
Right.
Not a lot of work.
Exactly. Alan Craig has it. He'll take it himself.
This was his 13th appearance, and he has 5 2/3 innings. And that's it.
Well, you think a reliever's job is stressful? You got 3 pitches. They better be good ones. And Randy Choate's 3 pitches were good ones. We're going to have a Chevy call to the bullpen. It's Seth Maness. More on him after this. It will receive a pennant highlighting hometown hero David Freese, courtesy of Coca-Cola and Pasta House. Then come back with Mom and Dad on Sunday, May 19th, and it's High Sock Sunday. Kids ages 15 and younger will get to dress like John Jay using those high socks that he wears. For more information and to purchase tickets, you can go to cardinals.com/promotion. 4 games for Seth Maness, and he could hardly have done much better.
Already 2 wins, just 4+ innings. 12 of his 13 outs have been on ground balls. He's already induced 3 double plays. He was last year's minor league pitcher of the year. And he's a strike thrower. He had a 10-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio in his minor league career. 15 total walks issued in 900 batters.
And true to form, he's 0-2 on John Buck, who walked in the second and was hit by a Shelby Miller delivery with 2 outs in the 4th and was later caught stealing.
Maness, really works fast, and with all the ground balls he gets, those infielders are on their toes. He was the 11th round of 2011. Last year, his first full season was the minor league pitcher of the year. Ground ball just happened to go through. But now he'll get a chance for his 4th shutout, or DP, I mean. Beyond the reach and dive of Carpenter. How about this for Maness? He's won championships in both professional seasons. Last year at Springfield and the year before at Quad Cities. Like to see that. Kids come up here and they expect to be on winning in championship teams.
Name we don't talk a lot about when we talk about the Cardinals development system. We give credit to John Vooch and the scouts and others, but Mike Schilt is a guy that is very well thought of in the Cardinals minor league system. He has managed a lot of those championship teams along the way, including a couple rookie ball championships.
Right now he's at Double-A Springfield,
and it's not just Mike, but he is very well thought of. Cardinals minor league managers and the pitching coaches all kind of adding to the development of a Seth Maness.
And what I heard too about Schilt was the fact that he really is a development guy, but he does it in such a way that his teams respond and win championships. That is a name to remember for the folks. Mike Schilt. Had what, 2 Johnson City championships, and then last year at Springfield they won the Texas League.
Rick Ankiel at the plate. Big swing, and he fouls that off the mask, I believe, of Tony Cruz. He's working here tonight, giving Yadier Molina a night off. There's the sinker, and yeah, I would say that got his mask.
It's the closest thing to a whiplash, right?
Around the Mike Matheny quite a bit when he was going through his issues with his concussions, and there were times where it's really difficult to have conversations with Mike. He was really struggling just to get his mind right, and one of the things he was talking about was just how many concussions they diagnosed that he actually had as a minor league catcher and a college catcher, and don't recall the number, but it was a very, very high number, and he was not aware of it.
Right.
Some with collisions at the plate, some of it with just the ball hitting off the mask. And there were times where I would say Mike was concerned about himself, and as a friend of his and many of the people close to him, we were concerned about kind of where that was taking him. He was really struggling to get the cobwebs out.
And then when he did start feeling better, then he would have do a normal workout and then kind of bring back the symptoms again.
If his heart rate got up over 90, he would get sick again. And that was for a very long time after having to retire. But a good career for Mike Matheny. He's very sensitive to the work that his catchers do. Very empathetic. The 3-2. Fly ball to center field. It's deep and it's gone. Rick Ankiel showing his power, and just like that, this ball game is tied.
Mike Matheny, his first game on Monday, when he was asked about Ankiel and he was talking about in point in the game, and he goes, "No, I wasn't comfortable because I know the power that Rick Ankiel has." Right off the end of the bat, but got enough of the sweet spot to just hit it out. John Jay kind of turned and looked at it, and there goes Shelby Miller's potential 6th victory. Now we've got to win this ball game.
So a brand new ball game here in the 7th inning. 2-2 the score. Rick Ankiel, his first home run as a Met, and his 5th of the season. Ground ball handled by Maness. He's got it in the underhands to Tejada.
First home run Rick's ever hit against the team that signed him and brought him to the big leagues for the first time.
427 feet to straightaway center field.
Now he kind of feels like he's part of their ball club.
I'll say. Maness pumps in strike one.
There's only 4 players that had accomplished what Rick had accomplished, at least 40 wins and 40 home runs. On that list was Rick Ankiel and Babe Ruth, along with 2 others.
Yeah, Al, you have been using the term vulture.
This is not the way I wanted to use the term vulture.
I understand.
But it really is kind of how the term evolved, where you come in and you blow a save, and then you come pick up the victory. 3rd time, 2nd hit for Markham, but the 3rd time he's hit the ball well.
Top of the order, and Mike Baxter. Maness struggling a bit here in the 7th inning.
And what a young pitcher's got to worry, is when time where somebody comes and say, "Hey, let's don't lose this ball game. You lost the lead, but don't lose the game."
Sinker low. Baxter has struck out twice and lined out.
Rosenthal starting to throw in the Cardinal pin.
And you'd think he would have the 8th inning. Mike Matheny would like to see Maness get through the 7th.
Absolutely.
And with 5 left-handers in this order, the Cardinals with just 1 left-handed reliever have already used their Randy Choate. Liner to right. Beltran has it, but the damage is done. 2-run shot by Rick Ankiel has tied it. Time to stretch. For the New York Mets has turned this game on a dime here in the 7th inning. A 2-run shot in the top of the 7th has tied this ball game. Shelby Miller started for the Cardinals, went 5 2/3 innings, gave up no runs. 2-run shot by Ankiel off of Seth Maness, and we are tied. Sean Markham has pitched well for the Mets, and he is still at work.
Kind of settled in. He's retired 7 in a row, and that's since the Tony Cruz RBI single to give the Cardinals their 2nd run. And now we got to battle back.
Markham at 80 pitches through 6 will face John Jay, Tony Cruz, and Daniel Descalzo. Cardinals have some firepower on their bench. We'll hold that thought for later on. Might become important. Yadier Molina, Matt Adams,
David Freese,
and David Freese all available. Ty Wigington and Shane Robinson as well. But certainly some home run threats. And we'll see how Mike Matheny uses his very good bench tonight. John Jay, we mentioned, has hit Markham well. Soft liner into right. It's dropping. But a diving play by Baxter robs John Jay of a hit. Nice play by the Met right fielder.
Comes in on this ball, catches it thigh high, and then dives for good measure. Something that Tony Cruz hits his first home run here.
Be okay with that.
Markham has only allowed 1 on the season.
Cardinals took 2 out of 3 from the Rockies to start this homestand. They've won the first 2 against the Mets. Finale of the series is tomorrow afternoon here at Busch Stadium, and then the Milwaukee Brewers come into town over the weekend. A chance to be a very good homestand for the Cardinals.
Foot down, keep on pressing. Right now, you want to win this ball game.
Wainwright and Jonathan Neese will pitch tomorrow. And looking ahead to the Brewers, it's Garcia and Peralta on Friday. Lance Lynn and Marco Estrada pitch Saturday, and John Gast gets his 2nd start against former Cardinal Kyle Loesch. That's in Sunday's ball game. Another nice crowd on hand here tonight. 38,143.
Loesch 1-4. ERA at 3.50.
There's how the Mets defend Tony Cruz. Straight up on the infield.
Big gap out in left center.
Really as big a gap as you're going to see. Ankiel shading him almost like a left-handed pull hitter, but the left fielder Duda is playing him like a pull hitter from the right side. So that gap is huge in left center field.
You just wonder where they've got the basis to make such a drastic shift with so few at bats for Tony Cruz.
Good question. Ankiel's been busy. Cruz is retired.
I mentioned Ankiel, and I mentioned that Rick is one of 4 players in Major League history with at least 40 starts and 40 home runs. The others are Babe Ruth, George Van Holleren and Cy Seymour. Couple household names.
Well, that Babe Ruth, I think I've heard of. Rick Ankiel, just such a fascinating story, Al, not just because of his tremendous pitching potential that all of a sudden went awry because of the wild pitches and then his lost mechanics, and then somehow committing to try to become a big league hitter as a big league player as a hitter, which people thought was impossible, then him doing that. But he just really became kind of a heartfelt guy that everybody in St. Louis rooted for, and across baseball.
Yeah.
Just a feel-good story in a way. You just felt sorry for what you saw him do, self-destructing on the mound.
You know, and then I believe it was the next year or so, his first start was out against Arizona, and you know, they literally almost had him warm up underneath the stands, and he was opposed by Randy Johnson, and he outpitched the big unit. And then you thought, okay, he's over it again. Just eventually got too much, but come back and become a hitter and do what he's done as a, you know. And Tony La Russa always believes that if Mike Matheny would not have cut his hand or thumb with the birthday present, that never would have happened with Ankiel. I'm sure, you know, knowing Mike, the type of person he is, having Tony say that, I imagine he'd sit there and beat himself up even worse.
And really meant just to be a complimentary statement to Mike Matheny and his ability to help redirect a pitcher, but it was not to be, and things just went south for Rick Ankiel and Mike Matheny, Tony La Russa, Dave Duncan. Every pitching coach on the planet couldn't help Rick Ankiel get back on track, and really, again, still rooting for this guy. How can you not?
Everybody. The pitcher can't throw strikes like that. They all call Blass, Steve Blass, broadcaster with the Pirates, who, you know, was a control pitcher, World Series hero. The next spring he came and he threw a game against us in spring training, and he struck out 10 in like 5 innings, but he hit like 6 guys, and everybody's like, I'm not going to hang in there for this. But Steve always said, why did they call me? You know, if I would have figured it out, I would have corrected myself.
Exactly.
Maybe that's the opening.
Good eye by Descalzo. He takes ball 4. He's on base for the second time, and it brings in Pete Cosmo.
It's going to be a key at bat here, because can you get the inning extended to a pinch hitter with a little more power?
We mentioned all the options on that Cardinal bench. Matt Adams has a bat right now, and Scott Rice, the left-hander, getting loose.
And LaTroy Hawkins.
Markham now the one closing in on 100 pitches. Descalzo the runner at first. Soft liner into center field. Here comes Ankiel, and it's going to drop in front of him. Watch this throw. No, he holds up and thinks twice about it. And I'm kind of glad he didn't throw it.
I think he knew too he wasn't going to get there, but once again Pete Cosmo comes up with a big hit and extend this inning and allow one of those power bats coming off the bench. They were playing extremely deep. That's why this ball fell in. And good read by Descalzo. He just takes off and goes to third, and now we will have a pitching change.
So Matt Adams is announced, and that will take Markham out of this ball game. We'll see the left-hander. One more look at that fly ball, and ooh, that'd have been fun to watch. Here comes Rice. We're going to break. Will Adams hit or not? Before he finally gets a chance to be in the big leagues, and he has been busy out of that New York Met bullpen. He's our Chevy call to the bullpen. Game number 23 for Rice, and we've seen him in this series.
And we saw him his last time out. He was unfortunate. Remember, he threw the Wigginton hit the liner to center field, then Ankiel end up dropping with Scott Rice's glove, his backup glove, and he got a double out of it. And then the ball, Matt Carpenter hit the ball off his shoe, and it carried him towards the all the way to the foul line between first and second. The pitcher and Buck, the catcher, both went after it, leaving home plate open, and Wigginton scored the go-ahead run on that play. That broke the tie, and then later on you had Holiday hit the 2-run home run that same inning.
That was an exciting play, wasn't it?
It sure was. And Wigginton, who kind of buried, not doing much. Sunday got a chance to hit, and he's been hitting since.
Cardinals hoping for some more seventh-inning magic here in Game 3 of this series. Wigginton, as well as some of the other Cardinals on their bench, have started to have better pinch hit at bats.
A lot of these guys haven't get much at bats on Sunday. A rare time the Cardinals were kind of blown out by Colorado. Wigginton got a pinch hit RBI.
That ball gets away from the catcher. Wild pitch, and the Cardinals take the lead. A wild pitch, and Daniel Descalso scores, and the crowd here loves it.
How important was it for Descalso to go first to third on that base hit by Cosma? Watch the effort by Buck. Boy, balls like this, we comment all the time that Cardinal catchers block those balls, and in this case they don't. And you have to block that ball with potential winning run on base.
And Rice has not been close yet. 3-0 to Wigginton. Left-handed batting, Matt Carpenter would hit next. They've got to walk him in. Yep, they came to the same conclusion. First base open. Take your chances with Carpenter, although if you're a Cardinal fan, you know that Matt Carpenter's had some pretty darn good at-bats against left-handed pitching.
And what we talked about, that Carpenter's one that hit that ball off of Scott Rice's foot, that Wigginton was able to score from second base on a ball that hit his foot and deflected towards foul territory between first and home plate. Pitcher and catcher both went after it, and Williams saw his opening and raced on home with the go-ahead run. That first pitch out away from him. We know Carpenter's very good going to left field. Taking that pitch, going with it.
Ground ball right side, and Davis has it on the backhand, steps on the bag, and Carpenter is retired. But the Cardinals take the lead in the bottom of the 7th. Daniel Descazzo, Stamp coming home. Marito Sports Update. Pat? We have seen all kinds of good things from this young man. 19 games, the ERA is low, and a high number of strikeouts. A lot of swing and misses from Trevor Rosenthal.
Third with his 27 strikeouts among National League relievers. 33% swing and miss. That's tops in the National League. Team leader with his 20th appearance and his 20 relief innings.
Jam shot. Murphy is retired. That's one thing that speed will do for you. You can get in on the hands of a guy a lot easier when you're rushing it up there in the high 90s.
Well, the best thing I like is the fact you can make mistakes with location and get away with it.
And the soft tossers can't. Or it's harder.
Harder, but it's usually can't. As well as David Wright has fielded in this series, he made that crucial error or tag play on John Jay, and inadvertently the ball was knocked out, and John Jay came around to score the second run for the Cardinals. Tony Cruz base hit and RBI.
So 3 runs charged to Markham. 2 of them earned. Curveball, and that's a good one right at the knees. 81 miles an hour. Markham went 6 2/3 innings, gave up just 5 Cardinal hits and only 1 walk. The Cardinals have really kind of made those count.
going to be a contending team, you got to win games like this.
Curveball and a beauty. Catches David Wright looking. That's 3 times he struck out here tonight. Outstanding pitch from Rosenthal.
Top of the shoulders and then right down below the knees.
As you say, Al, these are the games that championship teams win. And on the flip side, when a team is struggling, you just never win the one-run game.
Right.
I think a mark of the San Francisco Giants, the 2 years that they've put together teams that went to the World Series and won, and they've been really an outstanding ball club, but they find a way to win a lot of close games.
They have to, because they're going to win with their pitching and defense.
Fly ball to left, Holiday back, now in. An easy 1-2-3 inning. A good part of the order. Cardinals got Beltran next. Go. And by Ford, the official cars and trucks of the St. Louis Cardinals. There are Al Raboski's passes today. And they're getting talked to by ushers. You can only wonder why. Al, big fan of the zoo.
That's it.
And I guess those are your buddies.
Must be. Troy Hawkins is our Chevy call to the bullpen. He has appeared for the second most appearances of any reliever that's active today. This is 889th appearance for Hawkins. Only Mariano Rivera has more games pitched. That's 1,069.
Really a survivor, isn't he?
Yes, he's been around a long time, and been a few times they've tried him as closer and hadn't really worked too well. But if you really look at his numbers as a setup man, he's had an outstanding career.
Still throwing in the 90s at age 40.
He's not walked a batter this year. He allowed an earned run on May 9th, and he had not allowed an earned run for 10 previous outings.
one of those guys, when you ask how's it feel to pitch against your former team, it really doesn't matter who they're playing.
Yeah.
He feels that way every night because he's played a lot of places. Minnesota for a long time, Chicago, San Francisco, Baltimore, Colorado, Yankees, Houston, Milwaukee, Angels. I think I'm done.
You know, Carlos Beltran has 23 at bats against him. 304 average with 2 home runs.
When did Mike Morgan that played in the most in maybe 17 organizations, something like that?
I was thinking more like 12 or 13, but I think there's some people that have
maybe he played 17 years. Oh,
yeah,
is that
probably
right?
a 17-year career for him.
Cardinals were one of them.
Yes, they were.
Good fastball. Buck thought he'd get the call on that. He didn't. Hawkins snaps the ball from the catcher.
Talking about the Mets not hitting a lot, not getting a lot of good starting pitching other than Harvey. They, in the bullpen, they've allowed at least 1 run in each of the last 8 games.
Hawkins not happy with that call. Walks Beltran. Cardinals hadn't had a walk, Al, until the 7th inning.
And that's the first walk that Hawkins has allowed this year.
Markham hadn't had a walk till he walked Descalzo with 2 outs in the 7th inning, and it cost him.
Right. Opposition. Just notes on the pen for the New York. The opposition has hit at least 1 home run in 7 of the last 10 games. Remember, Holiday got him on Monday at the bullpen.
And the pitcher of record at the moment for the Cardinals, Al Hrabosky?
The Vulture. I liked it better, and I'm sure Seth did too. He didn't want to come in and blow the 2-run lead, but he is the pitcher of record, and he is in line for his 3rd victory in 5 appearances?
Nice if the Cardinals could add a little insurance to this 3-2 lead in the 8th inning. Cardinals scored 2 in the 4th to take the lead. Ankiel tied it in the 7th with a 2-run shot. And Descalzo scampered home on a wild pitch in the bottom of the 7th. 3-2 is your score.
Troy just nice and easy, and that ball just jumps out of his hand.
Had 28 saves with Minnesota in 2001. Had a 25 save year with the Chicago Cubs that we remember in the National League. He was their closer for a couple of years.
But I think it's fair to say that he just wasn't as consistent as a closer as he has been as a setup man.
Agreed. Found his niche. In the early part of his career, he was a starter with the Twins. 33 starts in 98 and 99, which for all of our young folks watching the game was so long ago they don't care. Ancient history. Ground ball to short. Out of the second for 1, on to first. Errant throw into the Cardinals dugout. And Holiday will be awarded second base on the wild throw from Murphy. And it just seemed like Tejada backing up on that ball a little bit at short. Maybe he threw off the timing a little bit of that double play attempt. But first, it's time for our Nissan drive of the game. The Cardinal catcher here tonight, Tony Cruz.
There's that mighty swing. Drove in the second run, John Jay, of this ball game. The second RBI of the year for Tony Cruz, and making his second start of the year.
Mets' second error allows Holiday to reach second base, and that could be a big play in this game. Alan Craig RBI opportunity.
First error was.
You bet. 30 RBIs for Alan Craig on the season.
Molina may go in to catch Mojica or hit. I think they're looking for what, his 11th save? 10 for 10?
10 saves, and he has been perfect. He is becoming the Cardinals' closer.
Wouldn't mind a couple extra insurance runs. Cardinals scored off the bullpen in this game, so that's the Mets bullpen has allowed at least one run in each of their last 8 games, and the opposition has hit at least one home run in 7 of the Pen's last 10 games. Add to that mark.
Now it's nice to be a closer, Al, on a team where number one, you get a lot of opportunities because you get a chance to stay sharp. But number two, where you've got other guys in front of you doing a good job, which is where the Cardinals find themselves now. There was a time this season the bullpen was a bit of a mess, but with Rosenthal in front and with the team playing so well, you really, to me, have one of the best jobs in the game. You're just finishing off what your winning team's been doing really the first 2.5 hours of the game.
And Mojica's handled it flawlessly. Yeah, just like he did the 7th inning when he was acquired from the trade last year.
Down the right field line, it's going to be foul and out of the reach.
Good effort.
Baxter.
Talk about a bullpen, Ricky. You know, obviously you have to have a closer, but you better have 2 or 3 setup guys to get to that closer. That was the Cardinal problem in the last several years. You know, Donald Zalak had to make a trade to settle down the bullpen at the trade deadline. Last year it was Mojica. Before it was Zipchinski, and the big trade, you know, bringing in Dotel and Jackson.
The 2-2 is low. 3-2 now to Alan Craig. And then the question of the day, maybe not of the day, but certainly there'll be a day when the question will be, where does Chris Carpenter fit into that potential mix down in that Cardinal bullpen?
I think first of all, you just got to take it one day at a time. And you know, it sounds like when the team goes out on the road, he possibly halfway through that may go out on an assignment someplace. I don't remember Hawkins pitching this slowly, do you?
And I don't remember him having this much trouble finding the strike zone. Exactly right. He had a couple of seasons where he would walk 14 or 15 batters in 80 innings. So really a control guy early in his career.
Like I said, these are the first 2 walks he's committed this year.
Holiday and Craig aboard. Tony Cruz has a big hit in this game, but Yadier Molina set to hit for him. Following John Jay, studying the pitcher LaTroy Hawkins, 40 years of age.
John Jay is 0 for 1 against Hawkins. Molina 0 for 2.
John Jay right in the middle of that 2-run Cardinal 4th inning. Double and an RBI. Stayed on base because of the error by David Wright. 0-2 is a little bit high, and Hawkins may have wanted that pitch as well. Could be a big pitch here. 1-2 to John Jay. 2 Cardinals aboard, and there's a strike 3 called on the outside corner. And the fans very aware who's coming to the plate.
Find this kind of interesting, knowing, and we assume it's just because Mike Matheny wants Molina to catch Mujica, but you're leaving your bench running out of players on your bench if you go into extra innings.
Line drive, base hit, Molina to right field. Here comes Holiday, and he scores, and the Cardinals lead 4-2. Yadier Molina delivers.
That will help in what I was worried about. An extra insurance run and still with potential to do more damage. Breaking ball just hung up there a little bit. They had the shift on where the second baseman playing in the hole, and he hit it at normal second base positioning, and it gets on through for a big RBI and insurance run for the Cardinals.
Yadi is something else.
You saw him studying him, had a pretty good eye, and got a pitch he could hit.
Didn't really look like that bad a pitch location.
Thought it ended up a little bit above the belt, right at the belt.
Molina didn't miss it. 1-0 to Descalzo. Another 2-out hit for the Cardinals. One of the stories of the season so far.
That is just a great trait to have. Just the opposition always is under the gun. You never feel like you're out of a ball game. You always come back with two outs.
So Yadi's a pretty good pinch hitter. So you think we should use him in that way a little bit more often now, or
no? I
think
we'll start him.
Cardinals' 10th successful pinch hit of the season. They've gotten a lot better.
You know, on Sunday they had 3 in a row. Pinch hits, 3 successful pinch hits. Scalzo was one of them, Wigginton and Adams.
Really started to say it. I think if a player does not get enough spot starts, it's really hard to be a successful pinch hitter. And, you know, even as a pinch hitter, you talk to hitting coaches, and John Mabry said that if you hit 250 as a pinch hitter, that's good.
Very good.
Because you're facing closers most of the time, or specialists. 2-2 to Descalzo. And a called third strike, and Daniel doesn't believe it. And he needs to stay in this game. Get his save first. Here comes Mujica to save it.
Coming up after the game on the post-game edition of Missouri Lottery Cardinals Live. Pat Paris and Jim Edmonds are at Lumiere Place. Shelby Miller overcomes some early command problems. They'll break that down. Plus, we'll have Cardinal player reaction and Mike Matheny's post-game comments as well. It's Mujica time as Edward comes on to try to put this one in the bank. We head back to the booth. And Rick and Al, guys.
Thanks, Cat. And it is Edward Mujica, who's been a very hot closer. He's our Chevy call to the bullpen. Mujica has been outstanding. You look at 3 closers across baseball since the 18th of April. Mariano Rivera, Jason Grilli, and Mujica. Between the 3 of them, 33 for 33 in save opportunities. And Mujica, just good to be on that list.
He's 5th in the National League with his 10 saves. He's tied for 1st in relief whip with a 0.60. And he's saved or hold 33 of 44 games for the Cardinals.
And for our old school fans that may not know what whip is yet, walks plus hits per innings pitched, which I think is a very good stat to talk about just how good a pitcher is. Combination of just base runners, basically.
Yeah.
And so you can have guys who are low hit guys that walk a lot of guys and really end up in the same spot.
That's why a lot of his saves have been 1, 2, 3, real clean, no suspense.
He will face Duda, Buck, and Rick Ankiel.
And because of his changeup, he has the ability to get a lot of left-handers out. So he doesn't make that much difference left or right.
Fly ball to right, hangs up just enough for Beltran to settle under it. So a good start for Mujica here in the 9th.
I don't know what the percentages are, but when you retire that first batter, you're well on your way to a clean inning.
Agreed.
Might give up a hit or a walk or something, but they're not going to come around and score.
John Buck has been on base 3 times in 3 different ways. Walked in the 2nd, was hit in the 4th, and a base hit in the 7th. Season average up to 234 after being much higher than that in the month of April. His power numbers are there, and he's just a big dude. He has a strong swing. All-star 1 year in the American League.
John Buck first came up with Kansas City, I believe.
Started with the Royals in 2004, played there through 2009 before heading to Toronto. And that's where he was an American League All-Star. Played for the Marlins in 2011 and 2012. And he has just flown out to center field. And the Mets are down to their last out. Time for our Budweiser player of the game, and struggled a bit, Al, but how can you complain about all the zeros up on that board?
Yeah, the big important one is he allowed no runs in his 5 2/3 innings. We'll get a no decision today, but if we get another win from the bullpen, and it's the 6 starters, including John Gassnow, and then Seth Maness. So Seth would be 3-0. Out of the bullpen, all 3 victories for the bullpen, and everything else, the other 23 wins are out of the rotation.
No success against Mujica. Edward trying to close it out. There's a fly ball to right center field. John Jay calling for it, and the Mets have dropped another one here at Busch Stadium. Their 6th straight loss, and the Cardinals have now won 12 out of their last 14 games. And Edward Mujica picks up save number 11.
26-13 start. That is a best record in the major leagues right now, and this club is having a lot of fun, and they're doing it with a lot of respect.
A lot of high fives after the games of late. Great time at the ballpark. 4-2 Cardinals postgame is coming up next.